He's done extraordinary work, and it has taken top class artists down to the colleges, to students who would never have had the opportunity of seeing such people or hearing such people. It's something quite extraordinary that he's done, and now he's doing a cycle yatra. You better look out. How old are you now? He's still a young man. I'm not 73. Was at all. A couple of years ago, I'm still a young man. But nonetheless, good luck with your cycle. Be careful. Ladakh is a bit tricky. However, my very good wishes are with you. I'm astonished at your intellectual capacities and your physical resilience. Let me say this meeting is being held after 3 or 4 years because of this COVID, the wretched disease that hit the country so badly, hit the world so badly. Therefore, we were not able to meet annually. So we're meeting today. I'm not going to take too much time. But shall we go on then to the next item? Yes. I can say something at the end if I need to say it again.
Thank you, sir. I now request Sri Sanjay Kumarji, Secretary Youth Affairs, to give his comments, please.
Thank you, Charanji. Dr. Karan Singh ji. Dr. Shri Jishnudev Varma, Honorable Deputy CM from Tripura, who's joined us. Shri Amitav Kant, Sherwa G20, all our respected colleagues here in this hall. For me, it's a walk down the memory lane for that, because for many of us who were students in late 70s and we joined colleges in early 80s, we literally grew up with Spicmacay. And for many of us also, it was our first introduction to Indian culture, music, dance. Primarily, I was interested in music. We also read about Dr. Kiran those days, that he'd come back all the way from US, his brush with the Daga brothers, and how he decided to float an organization and to bring culture, especially music, to all the Indian youth. And it has been a long journey, and I'm happy to be here, and I thank you for inviting me to be here with you all. For me, culture, and especially the music part of it as it has evolved in India, it says something best about us. Sometime back, we saw the picture of a disconsolate and inconsolable Zakir Hussain at the funeral of Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma. And I guess that picture conveyed, it spoke a million words. And also the way things have evolved, I think it is the best of the Indian tradition, especially the Indian music. When one heard about Bismillah Khan playing at Vishwanath Temple in Banaras, we never thought that there was anything unusual in it. It was all part of us, and we enjoyed the music. We enjoyed the ambience, we enjoyed the concept, and that's the way it has been. You know, there's always been a debate that which came first, music came first or the language came first. And I guess the fair amount of research which is going on, and I think now the consensus is that the music came first, because language is a special part of music. So it has such fundamental connection to us. And I don't know if you read Dr. Oliver Sacks, he wrote a book, Musicophilia. So I just thought I'll read something from that. Music imprints itself on the brain deeper than any other human experience. Music evokes emotions, and emotions can bring with it memory. Music brings back to the feeling of life when nothing else can. I guess this is the feeling of life which needs to be brought, and I'm happy as of now. I've just been working as Secretary Youth Affairs for the last 2 months, and you are an organization which has been working with youth for a very long time, and we see immense opportunity to be able to do things together. We have been doing things together in the past also, but I guess the synergy needs to be built on that. We do National Service Scheme, and we have about 4 million students across the country who are part of almost 32,000 institutions. And of these 32,000 institutions, 20,000 of them are universities and colleges. So there's a great opportunity to be together. And I guess nowadays, I do feel that, I mean, there's nothing compared to listening to someone in person. But maybe with the digital technology coming, and if one wants to reach, increase its outreach, then I think other ways, electronic ways also could be found. But I find that there's an immense opportunity to do things together. We can sit with Spicmacay, whosoever is the person, and we can work it out. The other thing is that we do festivals across the country, and we're soon going to do a Northeast festival in Shillong in the month of October. And then, of course, we do a National Youth Festival also. So that is also a great opportunity because it's watched and it is attended by a large number of people, and it creates a fair amount of buzz on the social media also. So I, as part of the youth affairs, I would be very happy to partner with Spicmacay to be able to do things together and make culture a part of the interaction which the department has with the youth on a very continuing basis. I'm happy to be here once again, and thank you so much.
Sanjay and Mr. Kiran said, and all the distinguished people who are here. Well, I've been a long-term volunteer of Spicmacay from my school days when I was studying in modern school, and later when I was in college in Delhi. And I think Spicmacay has been a very, very unique organization simply because for people like me, it's always got me back to the roots of Indian art forms, Indian culture, Indian music. And much later, when I got into the service actually, and I became a district collector, I mean, more than that, when I was a young sub-collector and later a collector, I got all the leading artists from North India, starting from Shiv-Kumar Sharma, Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Zakir Bhai, all of them to perform on the beach of Calicut, where Vasco da Gama had landed and discovered India. And that was all because of the great learning and the great, my own evolutionary process of having been a part of Spicmacay for very long periods of time. And my personal belief is that Spicmacay has done a tremendous service by bringing the traditional Indian art forms, its art, culture, music, to the young generation of India. And they've been able to discover it through Spicmacay. I mean, large number of schools, colleges, institutions across India. I mean, particularly in southern part of India, they've discovered these traditional art forms because of Spicmacay. So it's a unique organization, it's a wonderful organization, it's done so much for Indian art and culture, largely because of the effort. Now in the coming year, there are great opportunities. One is the opportunity of what the government is doing itself, the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And the Prime Minister's huge effort is that actually this is an opportunity. There are certain time spans when countries really accelerate the pace of their growth through art, culture, economic growth, etc. And this is an opportunity for this country to accelerate its pace of discovering the Indian narrative. And secondly is the G20, which is going to be happening. India will be hosting the biggest event ever held. And you will have presidents and prime minister of over 35 odd countries, but more than that, you will have all the heads of all the international organizations. So large number, and over 200 events are planned across India. Over about 190 events across in every state, union territories of India. Again, the government's effort is that everyone who comes should really go back with a huge go back as an Indian. And that means really spiritually invigorating the person, mentally rejuvenating, and actually making him rediscover the unique cultural art forms of India. And therefore, this is a massive opportunity for the country and to work in partnership with Spicmacay. And we'll do everything possible so that we bring the traditional art forms of India before the whole world, which is going to assemble in India through the next year of India's presidency. And we'll be very happy to work in partnership with Kiran Seth. And it's not about bringing people in India and making them stay in 5-star hotels. Every 5-star is the same. But to create that unique India experience from the point of arrival to the point of departure. And there is no better experience of India than through its art forms, its traditional art forms, its classical art forms, its classical music. And therefore, I think as a G20 Sherpa, I'll be very happy to work in partnership with Spicmacay. And anything else that I can do, I'm always there to assist and support Spicmacay. I'm very much a volunteer, a partner, a facilitator, a catalyst, anything that you like. Very much an integral part of Spicmacay. So I'll be very happy to support it in every possible way.
So what are the dates of the G20?
So it'll start around September. Most likely the dates are not yet finalized. Indonesia is the president right now. Its term will end by around 30th November, but our plans would be to start a little early in India. We are right now thinking of around September for a year onwards for the next year. So our term should go on till the November of next year, the year after.
For your kind words. When I first got to know Spicmacay, I was quite astounded by the fact that even in the early days, Spicmacay had started reaching out to literally thousands of schools and colleges through their volunteer system and were bringing great artists to the young children from schools and college-going students and giving them the opportunity to understand and appreciate our music and dance. In today's world, it is even more important that we need to reach out to children and college-going students because of social media, because of the fact that connectivity on the internet, on digital media, is actually attracting many of our children to Western. If it were classical music, I would say, well done. But it is attracting our children to pop music, or call it what you will, and is not giving them an opportunity to appreciate and understand our own music and dance. So it is even more important today that our efforts be redoubled and that we reach out to more and more children. You know, people ask me, when we have gone to schools and colleges, we find children are talking to each other, children are not paying attention. And I always say, if 10% of the children are listening, asking questions, appreciating, we've created over a few million future listeners of and appreciators of music and dance in our country. Classical music and dance nowhere in the world is a popular form of art. It is something which is much more difficult to appreciate and understand. So we are not unique in that sense. But through the effort of Spicmacay, if even 10% of the children understand, appreciate our music and dance, and become great listeners in the future, they will create amongst their own children an opportunity for them to appreciate and learn music. Perhaps 1 or 2% of them may take up music and dance as a profession, which also would be a great thing. But even if they don't, let's at least create great listeners. So I, having been a musician myself for more than 70 years, I myself feel that this is the time when an organization like Spicmacay needs to redouble its efforts and reach out to more and more institutions. And I will continue to support in whatever way I can the efforts of Spicmacay and make sure that we don't lose touch with the heritage that we have inherited from our forefathers thousands of years ago. So I pledge my support and I hope that we will continue to do the great work that Kiran had started. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Like Arun, I also started learning classical music 80 years ago. And I'm still doing my riyaz. Only once a week. But I have to make a little comment upon what he said. I'm also a rock addict. I've been following rock and roll long before Elvis Presley, from Bill Haley and the Comets, all the way down to Madonna and Billy Joel and Dire Straits and all. I love that music also. So music is music, whether it is Indian or whether it is Western, whether it is rock or whether it is classical. I love all kinds of music. But Arun himself is a very fine artist, as you know, and his support is always very, very valuable. On behalf of Spicmacay, thank you very much.
Have made them interested in that, and your own personal commitment has taken people to whatever little assistance they could give. So it's one shouldn't belittle your own effort and your Spicmacay. There's a very important word in that, and that is Indian. I. So we are talking about Indian music, Indian arts, Indian culture, Indian. I have seen it from a very different perspective also, and that is, I have seen it from the point of view of what does an ordinary Jawan, ordinary soldier, sort of feels when he is left alone to perform whatever his duties are. And that is the environment that he's grown, the village that he comes from. Because if you land up in Siachen, at a height of 24,000 feet, and these chaps can't even see their other colleagues. They're at a distance apart, and they're doing. So what does he think? He thinks about the folklores, about the environment that he's come. Therefore, you may recall in one of the Miranda House where you had started 3 or 4 days of. I had said that culture is our identity, and it is this identity. और culture हमारी पहचान है. It is this identity which enables the soldier to do what he does. Now, it is extremely important for India to see that this pehchan, this thing, is retained. Karan Singh, you talked about rock. Now, if you see the Western arts, Western classical music, and also the pop music, each pop music, whether it is rock or it is another genre, these are all different genres and they have a boundary. They perform in that boundary. So Indian classical music, whether it is Carnatic or it is the North Indian, performs in a boundary, performs in a form, and that form has to be understood. And similarly, the Indian folk music, each folk music, and I came into Madhya Pradesh and I immediately realized that Madhya Pradesh has huge numbers of different customs, different traditions. Each of those traditions are extremely important for people to. So you have Bundelkhandi, quite different, and you have Magadhi, you have Malvi. All these are very important. So what Spicmacay has provided for in the schools, and right in the schools, or right from the schools, that the young mind, young student has an eye, has an ear, and is appreciative of Indian music. So I think it is absolutely necessary. Second thing which is there is that it is not enough to have appreciation. It is also that they should be able to host these performers. So what you've done is, like, there's a long list of performance which is gone on. We should see how we can increase these performances at the places where they haven't gone as yet. And I think our experiment with going all over on a cycle, and remember I spoke to you and you were saying that you were staying somewhere near Ujjain and you were getting and every day you are doing a certain amount of kilometers, and everywhere you have a volunteer. So that's the kind of thing. This volunteerism is an extremely important thing, and I have been a volunteer, and I shall remain, and I'm absolutely sure that this movement will go on. Thank you.
Marwari University in Rajkot.
Good evening, everyone. A very distinguished Karan Singh Saab and Kiran Seth Saab, every other expert who is present here. I'm a very humble, small-time volunteer. I haven't contributed anything much to this, but my desire is there that I do something for the Spicmacay, and that's what connects me. Thank you so much, Kiran Seth Saab, that you've been giving me this opportunity. I have only one small idea to float at this point as we are trying to scale up or sustain or improve our presence and our deliverance. I would make one proposition, and that is that I was formerly the president of Association of Indian Universities, possibly one of the oldest academic body of the country, much prior to UGC and AICTs. It's now 97 years completed, 98th year. And it has good presence and good following. It also does certain activities in the cultural and the sports domain. I have actually promoted the sports domain, but I couldn't do much in the cultural, but they do regional or state level or national level activities. I would wish that we have a proper connection. They have quite a bit of good structure in terms of doing competitions and performances and everything. And if there is any possibility, sir, I'd like to discuss with you and all others to formalize it. And like Spicmacay, they also run it with a very, you can say, small budget in terms of this, but the number and the impact is which can be quite big. So that's my humble submission, and I'll always remain available as a volunteer to Spicmacay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
At Maulana Azad Institute of Dental Sciences, when it was just a small wing of the medical school. There was no independent dental college. And one fine day, a professor of IIT Delhi, Kiran Seth, landed up, for dental work, and that's how we got together. And it was such a fabulous experience. Normally it is thought that the medical students are very studious, they have no time for any cultural activities, but with the support of Kiran, I was able to arrange umpteen programs in the dental school, in the medical campus, Virasat, and all the top-notch, and even all kinds of artists, and it was such a such a great experience. And now, just a couple of years back, I was elevated as a Vice Chancellor. Incidentally, the earlier Vice Chancellor, the founder Vice Chancellor of the same university is sitting next to me. But I want to just share that, of course, I cannot pledge any financial help, because being a government university, but I can help you in many ways. I just want to apprise you that this Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University is a large network, almost 130 institutions, colleges right here in NCR. We have nearly 90,000 students, and we have it's a technical university. We have institutions in all kinds of disciplines, and I can certainly help propagate the vision and the core objectives of Spicmacay also throughout, which I think has not been done much. And also, in terms of volunteers, as Sir said, and I think I can also help you generate a lot of volunteers, which in turn can start a chain reaction. So that pledge, and then of course I have opening another campus in East Delhi. We have a large campus in Dwarka, which is always there for any infrastructure support, any activities we can do there. Thank you. Thank you.
National education policy does not distinguish between classroom activities and outside the classroom. It is for the first time today that a student of engineering can take a course in music. It is for the first time today that a student of medicine can take a course on sports. So I think it is probably the rightest opportunity for Spicmacay, because now the student will not be blamed by teachers like us. Why are you practicing music and missing the classes? Because he can take credits on music also. Now we can officially creditize extracurricular activities, and that's a great opportunity for Spicmacay to encash on all universities. Dr. Karan Singh ji did talk about music. I remember when I went to the erstwhile GDR to be the state guest for a keynote address. They said we organize all your evenings for music because that's the only common language which we could find with you. So that's a great thing to do, and my request is to all of us to go together, keep on doing it. You mentioned accreditation. Yes, I am, and we do give importance to extracurricular activities, and whatever little I could do on that front will be done not for Spicmacay but for the youth of this country, because they need it more than Spicmacay is only helping them, and will be helping the youth to achieve those objectives. Somebody rightly said that if you teach 3 subjects only, math, music and gymnastics, everything else is taken care of. I asked him, why these 3? He says math for intellectual development, music for emotional development, and gymnastics for physical development. So if these 3 is done, everything is done. Thank you.
We have had a very long cooperation with Spicmacay. I suppose I should have been here some years ago, actually at the beginning of COVID, to make some sort of report. During COVID, so the report is a little outdated. But Rashmi here will make sure that actually she will drag me into the fray again for more activities. But this beginning cooperation with Spicmacay has been very important, and there is a clear sharing of values and intents between the Norwegian partner, which was Rikskonsertene, which actually now is a public institution, and Spicmacay. And I would like to quote my very dear friend who headed Rikskonsertene, the late Trude Birkeland, that we cannot compromise with qualities for the kids. We need to give them quality. And that has been important for the Rikskonsertene, that is important for Spicmacay, and has been a common value to build. On this a change that led to a lot of networks that still are operational. It has brought a lot of Norwegian artists to India and vice versa, and not just into the big cities, but also out into the villages, and spreading the awareness. It's also been able to develop not just exchange, but also training and education. And which is important for us. Listening to K.K. Agarwal, I have to say, from where I come, sports and culture, most sports, are extremely important. Not just that it's a side effect, but we need the sport to actually be able also to concentrate intellectually. and we need music and culture in the same way. And only by giving the kids opportunity to develop all in a playful manner until they reach a certain level, we can really get the big mass and the huge pool of talent we need. We should not actually sort them away at an early stage. So, I will really thank for a very good cooperation, and I will just mention one last thing from the assessment that was made of the programs, and this is advice to Amitabh Kant, because mostly the programs in Norway with Spicmacay artists getting good appraisals, minus one element. It was extremely unpopular to wake up the kids at 4 o'clock in the morning to perform yoga. So Amitabh, don't do that when your guests come between G20.
That is the Brahma Muhurat. You ask Dr. Karan Singh what's the importance of that. He'll tell you what is the importance of the 4 a.m. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Thank you very much.
I just want to add small little thing here, just for everybody's information, that in these last years of cooperation with Norway, we reached out to 106 cities in India with Norwegian artists, and every county in Norway was covered by Indian musicians, both Hindustani and Carnatic traditions. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And also Bunraku. All the 3 great art forms of Japan were brought here, but unlike Norway, you didn't get us to take our musicians there. So now that you are heading the Japan Foundation, I would also make a request that you allow us also to take the artists there and pay for both. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kiran said. Just how to say back to this very, very kind and lovely proposal. But I'm very simply happy to be invited to this wonderful occasion. On top of that, to meet again just with lovely Dr. Kiran said. It's a long time back, just when we met and share the same vision and value, and I don't remember just how come we just reached some kind of agreement to work together.
Rapport.
How do
we met thanks to Nirja Sarin, who's sitting there.
Yeah.
And she's one who got us together.
Yeah.
And we hit it off quite well.
Kind of a natural chemical thing just happened between us, and maybe I don't remember well, but I brought the no and the kind of exchange with the Korean Tamil, just Indian, very ancient traditional arts, and maybe that exchange was really powerful, and reach out to many Indian audience, and maybe let them more aware of the essence of the traditional value of the culture. So after maybe 18 years of absence in India, I'm luckily came back again, and of course it's not so easy to pledge to do the both, but now just maybe COVID is also just kind of settling slow by just day by day. So whenever we are planning to bring Japanese good traditional artists to India, let us work together once again, and create a good exchange altogether. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vidya. I might also mention,
and not just preserved but taken forward by the Spicmacay in an unparalleled manner. And I must congratulate once again all the organizers for doing it for so many years without fail, uninterrupted. The COVID could stop it, nor any other event could prevent it. So I must congratulate you once again for doing such a splendid job. I don't think I can add any more value to what has already been done and what has been advised already by my other colleagues on the advisory board. But just one or two points. One is, I was just wondering, is it possible, Kiranji and Gurgaji, that you can create an online platform district by district in India, wherein the local artists can register themselves and then they could also learn from the illustrious artists of great fame and achievement, and they could also get inspired, but at the same time you'll be able to also spot them at the right time. And this could lead to the grassroots artists coming to fore in a very efficient manner. That sometimes it is very, I know how challenging it is, Kiranji, that you have been able to do this for so many years, when even the expense becomes very important. And I know not many sponsors will come forward like they come forward for IPL or such other events. But this is something which are doing. So this could be a low cost option which can be put together in online. And some online programs can be organized on a regular basis for these local artists from various districts of India. This could be also confluence of various different arts and culture that is happening on the ground in different parts of the country. Secondly, I just want to suggest that UNESCO, we should try to bring this to the notice of the UNESCO, that this cultural heritage of India, which has been brought before in this particular manner, because you know UNESCO is one of the mandate is culture. So I think that could also be of a great help. If you want connecting to UNESCO, I'll be more than happy to do that, and we'll be really able to take forward. I must again, Kiran has been a great technologist because he has been a professor at IIT, but he has been able to convert that technological bent of mind to take it to the cultural mind and to the artistic mind. So it's a very, again, another confluence of how technological mind can think creatively and try to create something as noble, as commendable as Spicmacay. So let me congratulate you once again, and I'm sure you will be able to do much more. I don't want to take more time for a simple reason, is that so many illustrious people who are also advisory panel, they can do far better job than I can. So thank you very much. Congratulations. I am not in Delhi.
आदरणीय करण सिंह जी एवं सभी उपस्थित प्रबुद्धजन, सभी को नमस्कार। आप सभी जानते हैं कि कोविड के समय बहुत मुश्किल था सभी के लिए, उतना ही मुश्किल भरा हमारे लिए था, क्योंकि गुरु शिष्य परंपरा से काम करना, आमने सामने गुरु शिष्य जब तक नहीं हो हम उस परंपरा को कैसे पहुंचा पाए, बहुत मुश्किल समय था। पर हम सभी डॉक्टर किरण सेठ जी की प्रेरणा से काम करते हैं आप सभी को, तो उन्होंने कहा कि शुरू करना है, तो हमने अपना काम शुरू किया। और हमने पहले समागम श्रृंखला से हमने कार्यक्रम शुरू की। हर शनिवार हमने सोचा कि कार्यक्रम किया जाए, रॉन्डेवू सीरीज को इंग्लिश में हमने नाम दिया, और हमारे सभी वॉलंटियर्स ने उसके ऊपर काम करना शुरू किया। खास बात ये रही कि ना केवल हिंदुस्तान में बल्कि जो हमारे वॉलंटियर्स अलग अलग देशों में बैठे हैं उन्होंने भी बराबर उसमें सहभागिता की। तो एक तरह से ये विवशता भी थी हमारी कि हम ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम कर रहे थे, लेकिन उसका सुंदर रूप ये था कि पूरे देश से विदेश से सभी हमारे वॉलंटियर्स बराबर जुड़े रहे और बहुत अच्छे तरीके से हमने उसको शुरुआत की। दूसरा एक बहुत बड़ा हमारे लिए चैलेंज था कि हमारा राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन अनुभव, उसके बारे में ज़्यादा बात नहीं करूँगा, हमारी दूसरे सदस्य हम आपको बताएंगे, लेकिन उसको भी शुरू करना उतना ही मुश्किल था, क्योंकि वो समय वो हमारा एक इंटरनेशनल एक इवेंट होता है, तो बहुत मुश्किल था हमें कि हम उसको कैसे ऑनलाइन कर पाए। लेकिन वही की प्रेरणा स्वरूप था और दिन बहुत कम चुके थे, IIT में कार्यक्रम होना था, वो नहीं हो पाया, तो हम लोगों ने उसको ऑनलाइन सोचा और बड़ी अच्छी तरीके से हुआ। उस पर अधिक जानकारी हमारी साथी देंगी। इसी तरह से फिर हमने ऑनलाइन, चूँकि हमारा एक सबसे बड़ा एक जो कार्यक्रम होता है किसी भी स्कूल में जाना, ओरिएंटेशन, तो उसका हमें बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा मिला कि हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन ना केवल एक स्कूल को बल्कि कई स्कूल्स को, कॉलेजेस को बुलाना शुरू किया। और सबसे बड़ा जो बड़े अच्छे रूप से हमने उसको माध्यम मानते हुए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों तक संदेश पहुँचाया। इसके बाद हम लोगों ने एक योग परीक्षा ध्यान योग कार्यक्रम किया नवोदय विद्यालय के साथ खास तौर पे, और केंद्रीय विद्यालय भी जुड़े, कि एग्ज़ाम से पहले हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन उनके साथ क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन करवाया, म्यूज़िक सेशन करवाया, और ये हमने पहुंचाने की कोशिश की कि वो कितना रिलैक्सिंग म्यूज़िक होता है और उससे हम कैसे अपना प्रेशर कम कर सकते हैं। तो बहुत सक्सेसफुल तरीके से वो भी हमारा कार्यक्रम रहा। इसके बाद बड़ी जैसा जी हमारे बीच में नहीं, सभी को पता है, तो रसराज स्मरण हमारा बहुत ही ऑनलाइन यूट्यूब पर हम लोगों ने उनके लिए यादगार में बहुत सारे कलाकारों को आमंत्रित किया था। वन ऑफ द सक्सेसफुल वो हमारा रहा कि बहुत अच्छी व्यूशिप हमारे पास में आई। इसके बाद हम लोगों ने सर्वमंगल योग अगला जो योग था उसको हमने शुरू किया कि पैंडेमिक का एक दौर खत्म हो रहा, तो हमने सोचा कि सर्व मंगल योग श्रृंखला शुरू की जाए, जिससे कि फिर से एक बार स्वस्थ होकर लोग उसमें आगे बढ़े। उसमें भी बहुत ही शानदार हमारा कार्यक्रम रहा। उसी दौरान में जो हमारे इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन जो होती थी उसको अनुभव के रूप में हमने रखा, पहला अनुभव, दूसरा अनुभव, और अगले 2021-22 में 2 अनुभव और किए। तो कुल मिला के जैसे हर साल हम केवल 2 कार्यक्रम कर पाते थे राष्ट्रीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के, वो हमारे 4 हुए। तो इसमें भी बहुत हमारी आउटरीच बढ़ी कि बहुत सारे विद्यालयों को हम लोगों ने इन्वॉल्व किया, और धीरे धीरे जैसे ये हमारी चीज़ें नॉर्मल होनी शुरू हुई तो हमने अभी लगातार अपने कार्यक्रम भी फिजिकल भी शुरू कर दी हैं, जिसमें कि हमारा जो महत्वपूर्ण जो रहता है WD जो फॉर्मेट है गांव-गांव तक जाने वाला है, वो भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से शुरू हो गया। उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, केरला में सभी जगह हमने गांव-गांव तक जाना शुरू कर दिया है, क्योंकि हम भी रुके हुए थे कि कब शुरू हो। तो सभी जगह बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में कार्यक्रम भी होने शुरू कर दिए हैं। हाल ही में जो सबसे बड़ा कार्यक्रम, वैसे तो सभी अच्छी तरह से हुए, कश्मीर में हम लोगों ने, हमें इंडियन आर्मी ने बुलाया और बताया कि हम किस तरह से काम कर रहे हैं और किस तरह से इसको आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है। तो हमारी वहाँ मीटिंग हुई और बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से हमने 2 कलाकारों को वहाँ भेजा, और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि हम पहली बार इसमें कामयाबी हम मिली कि हमने वहाँ लोकल जो पर्सन है, हम चाहते थे कि लोकल पर्सन कश्मीर का हमारे साथ जुड़े, और मुजफ्फर अली भट्ट जी गवर्नमेंट डिग्री कॉलेज अनंतनाग से हमारे साथ जुड़े, और उन्होंने पूरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ली है एज ए एडवाइज़र सपोर्ट करने की। तो ये हमें बड़ी खुशी है कि हम कश्मीर में अपना चैप्टर स्टैब्लिश कर पाए लोकल पीपल के साथ। तो अभी बड़ी तैयारी चल रही है, आगे की भी हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि बहुत अच्छे से उसको हम प्लान कर रहे हैं। डॉक्टर किरण सेठ अभी
I want to give you a brief about Anubhav, which was the online version of our international convention. When COVID hit in 2020, we were preparing to have our international convention at IIT Kanpur. But then Pankaj and Dr. Seth took this risk of conducting that whole convention online. There was a lot of opposition to it because we never liked doing stuff online. But we got 50,000 registrations from individual students for that, and Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji came to inaugurate it online. It was a huge success, and it was amazing that we sort of were learning the trick of the trade of how to do stuff online. So Dr. Seth didn't stop with Anubhav 1, he did Anubhav 2 and 3 and 4, and it's a lot of work. Anubhav 2 also, we had an inauguration by Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab, and we concluded the entire series by a concert by Norwegian violin artist Stefan Baradu. So this is a new thing that we have begun to have, which became possible in the online version, that we could have foreign artists come in, because to invite a foreign troupe during our international convention is a huge cost. In Anubhav 3, which happened in October 2021, just before Durga Ashtami Vijayadashmi ended, we were pretty strong by then. We did about 150 workshops online with at least 100 students participating in each one. And we expanded our outreach to students from Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, Korea, UAE, and so forth, from Bangladesh. We had university, Chittagong University and other universities in Bangladesh which hosted some of these artists. Everything was happening online. In Anubhav 3, we also managed to get, with the help of the Ambassador of India in Turkey, a beautiful performance of the Turkish whirling dervishes. There is an important section in our international convention called Music and Prayer, where we bring in artistic spiritual practices from across the world. Until today, it was very difficult to actually bring foreign artists in, but again, because it was online, we had the Turkish whirling dervishes and Gregorian chants. And we had a very senior professor, a French professor, Igor Reznikov, who actually had a beautiful discussion with Ustad Wasifuddin Dagar on sound and resonance, etc. So then Dr. Seth didn't stop with Anubhav 3, he announced Anubhav 4, which we just concluded in the first week of June. But by June 2022, everybody wanted to get back to normal, and we couldn't do a full-fledged international convention with 1,500 students as we used to do. So we came up with a hybrid model, and this time we picked 7 different campuses across the country, including Marwari University, Rajkot, IIT Dharwad, Rewa University and Alliance University in Bangalore, Srimati Indira Gandhi College in Trichy, Adharshila Vidya Mandir in Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. And in these 7 campuses, we brought only 200 students to come and stay there and to experience the convention as we used to do earlier. Wake up at 4, do their yoga, do their workshop, and then in the afternoon and evening, because we had to cut costs, we had them watch programs sitting in a hall on a large screen. The advantage was we were sure that they were watching those programs, something which we were skeptical about sometimes because we didn't know if they watched everything that we showed them online. And I do want to say this, that through the online mode, we discovered that we were not just reaching the child, but also the family at home. We found many times to our surprise that parents and brothers and sisters were watching the yoga session and participating in it and practicing. So it was quite a success. I want to also take a minute to talk about your cycle trip, Dr. Seth.
That's okay.
No, I want to. So I know that a lot has been said, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, all of us shocked and fainted and all of that. But when he decided, he said, let me just try it out, whether I'll be able to actually do this. And he decided to go from Delhi to Jaipur. Then he said, I'm fine, I can go to Udaipur. So he went to Udaipur. Then he said, I'm fine, I can go to Ahmedabad. So he did Rajghat to Sabarmati Ashram, 11th March to 14th of April, covering more than 1,200 kilometers. And then he was supposed to go back in the train, and he said, I think I'm going to cycle all the way back to Rajghat again. So he did that, and everywhere he stopped, he addressed students, faculty members, administrators, politicians, bureaucrats, influencers, media people, which I think is amazing because I don't think we have had this kind of outreach to the interiors until today. The second thing I want to say is, whenever we told any of the cycling groups that, Dr. Seth is coming cycling, he's 73 years old, they would be like, oh, great, okay. But he's coming on a bike which has no gears, it's gearless. And okay, so they would start giving us advice that you have to make sure he's wearing an elbow cap and a knee cap and he has this paraphernalia and that. Does he have GPS? I said, nothing. There is nothing. It's just one simple helmet, no fashionable branded accessory, none of that. One ugly looking red bag on his bicycle back. And that's it. It's not those fancy branded stuff. So, of course, I want to just reiterate what Dr. Seth has been telling us, that he's doing this not just for Spicmacay and not just to promote the fact that cycling is good for spiritual, mental, physical health, but he says he wants to also make people remember Mahatma Gandhi and his simple message of simple living and high thinking. And I have this thing in my mind always that I think Mahatma Gandhi led one of the largest movements in this country to help us get India. And I think that Spicmacay is a movement that is helping us get to our Indianness. Just like Mahatma Gandhi had the spinning wheel, I like to say that Dr. Seth has 2 this time. He has 2 wheels which are helping him to move. So I want to request all of you to give us your blessings in our work, but a little more than that, I want to request for more action, because I think if we continue the way we have been working, in the next 45 years, we will not be able to reach every child. We need some disruptive policy changes. And like K.K. Agarwal said, Sir said that, now we have departments of performing arts, liberal arts, interdisciplinary credit courses which are coming in. We need to supplement that or lay the foundation for that by making sure that every child in this country is learning ABC, 1, 2, 3, E, and Sarega. It has to be like that. Music has to become compulsory. And I'm requesting for generosity, not just in writing checks, but in sharing your network, your connections, in speaking to people who you think will make a difference. Because if we don't act now, we already are in a generation which does not know who Pandit Bhimsen Joshi is, who Hari Prasad Chaurasia is. It breaks my heart to hear that. But it's a fact. So we are the only country which has this pride that we can say we have artists who have been learning this art form for 20 generations. No Michael Jackson, no Justin Bieber can claim that. So this is our uniqueness, and I'm requesting all of you to help us with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, Hemant Putra has to also, he's come all the way from Mumbai.
But my late boss, Mr. Thapar, one day said that I've had enough of parties at my farmhouse where whiskey and I'm going to invite Bhimsen Joshi to sing at home in a live audience of just 40 or 50 people. My wife said no. My father said, can I come in your place because it is my birthday tomorrow. He came. He was a heart patient. We sat through Bhimsen Joshi, and my father says to me, I still remember 23rd January 1992, Hemant, I have been transported to heaven. I don't need anything more. Believe it or not, the next day, on his birthday, he was gone. And I still remember that this was him. On a lighter note, I noticed that there is a not so discreet request from Kiran inserted into the folder last minute, which says that we must raise 1 crore rupees. I think you should double, triple, quadruple the target, because I've been responsible in my job for several mergers and acquisitions, and I will not give you any details about valuations. But when the deal is to be done and people are looking each other in the eye, okay, they are their most vulnerable. Okay. That's the time to squeeze them and say, can you, we'll do this deal, but perhaps you can add a 25 lakhs or a 50 lakhs to a, I've done this, Rashmi knows it, and I'm happy to try again. But 1 crore is too modest a target, Kiran. You have to raise it.
Then that's only for you. If we all, it's given different amounts for different people.
I just want to add one small thing. I mean, everybody is very, very supportive of Spicmacay, but my first meeting with Hemant Putra, when Kiran asked me to go and meet him, I just walked in and I walked out with a very, very beautiful, very nicely given support. I will never forget that, Hemant. Thank you so much.
Yes. Now, we have Dr. Hemlata Mohan here. She's the head of the CCRT. She's chairperson there. So she's also been the chairman of our Spicmacay Jharkhand chapter and has given a wonderful contribution to the movement. Yes.
To all the teachers across the country, and that is linking education with Indian culture and music. As an educator, I believe that holistic education is very important, and there are 3 H which are most important to be integrated, and that are head, heart and hand. And probably music encompasses most importantly heart and head, and this is what is our concern, and this is what we are sitting here to find out. why do we need music in our life? Why do we need to understand Indian culture and ethos? I think each one of us have shared uh, that basically it transport, as Hemant ji said, to different part of the world. So probably that different part of the world, if I say, is somewhere touching upon the fluid within. And I feel that if we could touch upon that part of the beauty within, that is the need of the hour. We believe that every child must understand our culture, our music, and music in general, somewhere to embark upon those basic essence of the life. And somewhere music probably changes us to better and bigger human being, more kind people, and that is what is the need of the hour. With the wake up of new education policy, now it is even easier for all of us to integrate music, Indian music and culture into mainstream education. Spicmacay and CCRT are working together. If I say, most of the areas are common, and we can definitely do a lot of works together. Kiranji has been telling me all the time that why can't we work together. So I think I'm looking forward, and we're looking forward to holding hands, and we can do a lot of work. There's so much, but precisely I think this is what we can do. Maybe our training program, where, as you said, that your experts coming, and then we have a lot of our leg time programs, our community outreach programs, and then I think lecture demonstration. And most importantly, we have cultural coordinators across the country, trained teachers across the country from CCRT, who can hold hands, and you can, with their help, organize these musical activities into those schools of remote areas, because probably we have that outreach. We have those children and students and teachers there. So there's so much, yes, of course, to explore, and maybe this is a beginning, and we do a lot of work together.
That being with Spicmacay for me is being happy. So whenever I feel that I need to be motivated and happy, I think about Spicmacay. Of course, I have not been able to do much really. But there is no doubt that this is one movement which has to keep going on and on. I think it brings such miracles in people's life, which unless one has gone through, won't know. Sir, I mean, I would like to tell you that I think my first, very important, other than volunteering, starting with the keeping the shoes and all the volunteer work which we do in college. I belong to Delhi. Our family has been in Delhi for many years. So Bismillah Khan Saab was staying in Taj Hotel near that Fatehpuri. I think there is a Taj Hotel which is kind of
Crown Hotel. Crown Hotel.
Crown Hotel. And I went there as one of the volunteers too. I think that experience was so amazing. I think I can't forget that experience. And when I went, and I spending some 10 minutes with him and talking when he was just getting ready to come out with one other friend of mine. I think it's something which has remained with me even today. I like to do whatever we can do. All of us, we are volunteers, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much. We have Arvind Lal here with us, who is the contributor to this movement and has helped this movement a lot, and he has also helped lots of people. In COVID, he has been doing a lot of lovely work. Arvind.
So thank you, Kiran, and it always pays you to be the schoolmate and classmate of the man who founded this. And my earliest remembrance of Kiran is when he was very young, and I'm talking more than 60 years ago. So we were in KG, and I remember He used to speak with his hands, and now I think, Kiran, you're much improved, man. So Spicmacay has done a very good thing. So I would also like to say that now on a serious note that, music is the soul of life. And if you are helping somebody and becoming more soulful and also helping, that person to elevate himself, and I hope there is a good business model in elevating all these, the artisan, the artists and whom we looked after during COVID, etc. So I think that would be a very good thing. And Amitabh Kant has gone. He's also a modernite, by the way. And he would probably, understand what I'm trying to say, that this business of music and dance, projects India's great power, which is a soft part. There is no point in talking about your nuclear weapons all the time, but this soft power brings you, instantaneously. It's like a gold medal being given to a javelin thrower, Mr. Chopra. So that this is the thing which we should yearn for. And as Dr. Karan Singh is here, and he and I belong to the same kind of spiritual kind of a sect, we're all Shivites, and he and I still wear the same colors, in which is engraved Om Namah Shivaya. So I would like to emphasize here that I think Meenakshi was talking about Bismillah Khan ji. So it is on record. He has written that when he used to play, his instrument, the divine smells used to start coming. It is as if the goddess Saraswati was right there in front of him. And by the way, he's talking about Saraswati when he himself was a Muslim gentleman. So that is a power of music and the power of connecting with the bosses upstairs. So talking about my own profession, we हमारा खून का रिश्ता है लोगों के साथ. So we would mind getting involved in trying to there is a lot of disease, what we call non-communicable diseases, and lifestyle diseases, in which 65% of people are dying from that. And we wouldn't mind helping out your artists, etc., or basic blood tests. I believe every second or third woman in the rural area in India has got anemia. So speaking from that point of view, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just like many of the others here have spoken, and it's not just that we were involved in music, but it taught us so many things. For example, working as a team, how to interact with the artists, because at that time those were pre-mobile days. How do you talk to them? How do you speak to them? How do you go and fetch them? How do you bring them to the place where they were to perform? And in St. Xavier's, where we had those programs of Spicmacay in December, it was an electrifying place to be in, where the students were all over the place getting artists to perform, and all night all of us were awake, not only watching but interacting with everybody, getting people to come and perform, getting people to attend those shows. So it's taught us so many things. Apart from that, today when I'm the head of the publications division, it has been a wonderful experience for me because we are mandated to as a repository of India's art, culture, heritage. So to publish a book on Bhimsen Joshi ji, and now of course under Dr. Sheth's guidance, we are bringing out this book on the Durbal arts, and I hope we can keep publishing as many books as we can, and in order to ensure that it's documented, our arts are documented, and as the speaker had earlier spoken, that the national education policy has given this wonderful opportunity for us to ensure that the children are now reading and understanding these art forms as part of their curriculum, because extra reading is very much essential for an all-rounded development of the child. And as Sukriti ji said, that arts should become an essential
part of the curriculum, and we have to actually aggressively pursue this so that it is an essential part of the child's education right from kindergarten level. So that's what I would like.
Work then and even now, the way he is supporting Spicmacay, he's trying to set up a chair in IIT Delhi with the help of Rashmi, who's there. They're trying to set up a chair for Indian classical music in IIT Delhi, for which they have to raise a certain amount of corpus fund. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Seth. I'm really humbled to be here in this August gathering today. I remember we were students when Dr. Kiran Seth started his first sessions of Tagar Brothers at IIT. It used to be in one of those RCA centers, our Student Activity Center. In a small room we started, and that was the beginning of the even pre-Spicmacay days. So I really enjoyed those sessions. They helped us form some different kind of connections, which probably helped us subsequently in our entrepreneurial journey. Now we have started using design thinking a lot in our professional work, as well as we start teaching design thinking. We have a school of business design where we integrate management, design thinking, social sciences, and spirituality to build leaders for tomorrow. And this is what I was thinking, that the way Kiran has created a volunteers movement across the country, not only across the country, across the world, can this be studied to replicate similar kind of volunteer activities in many other sectors? So this would be one very interesting area to look at and to work at. And second is digital conservation, because now is a time when we can conserve or record or save a lot of our heritage in digital format. And we have, I mentor a startup which is already working in it. Their products have been displayed even in the Dubai Expo, in the Indian Pavilion. And we'll be happy to ask them to come and start working with you to do some digital conservation. So that would be a very interesting thing if you can work it together. Thank you.
And particularly to reach to the maximum children, I think we should have a capsule of Spicmacay in all our training programs. And we are here to support whatever way we can.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Namaskar, Dr. Karan Singh, Dr. Seth, all the dignitaries gathered here. I'm from the school education sector, and we have been, of course, working for a long time, and a lot of people, of course, have said, everyone has talked about the importance of things, so I won't go into the importance. But certain things that I have observed, in the school education sector, which we struggle with when we are actually doing the programs and all, and which we have tried to address, especially like in the government setup. There's always this thing of funds. How do we do it? We don't have the funds. How do we manage? We don't have the time. So what I found is that maybe go after the school managements and all that to have a corpus in every school for these kind of activities, and also work out the nitty-gritties of how to manage it, because those are the areas where there's always a problem. Otherwise, once it comes in, I mean, the children are very, very enthusiastic. They just love it, and even the teachers to a large extent. And I agree with the CCRT director that, bringing this into the teacher training would be very, very useful, because I have always felt that, the children, they have a lot of talent, they have a lot of enthusiasm, but somewhere they get bogged down. Even the teachers put a lot of pressure on them, especially once they go to higher classes, that okay, you have to study, you have to get good marks, you have a career to think of. These are the things that gain more importance, while we would like to interweave this within the regular school curriculum. And for that, getting the teachers into the fold is very, very important, so that they understand how to use music, dance, any other art form into the bring it into the subjects. That would really be a very, very interesting area to explore. And believe me, the teachers are also very, very talented. It's only if they get a chance. So I hope that we can work on this. So thank you very much.
Mentioned by other speakers, Spicmacay is a unique organization that has made an enormous contribution towards preserving Indian classical music and dance and inspiring young minds to understand and appreciate it. As a diplomat, my most of the time is spent abroad. But what is amazing is that everywhere I have been posted, I have found several exponents and enthusiasts of Indian classical music and dance. And many of them are doing very good work in terms of further promotion of Indian classical music and dance abroad, including having centers where they are teaching these art forms to the next generation and young students. My suggestion is that to establish linkages between these centers and Spicmacay, which will act as a strong source of inspiration and encouragement for these centers to do more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harsh. Thank you.
Trained by you and by your personality. I never seen anyone so passionate about the Nishkam Seva. And this Nishkam Seva connect all of us. And we are with you. Whatever we can do as a volunteer, I'm always ready to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. There's a really wonderful man, wonderful human being also. So.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, namaskar, and very warm good evening to all of you. It's an honor to be in such a distinguished gathering. And I would like to also thank Dr. Karan Singh ji. When I was in class 6, I heard his first lecture in a military school. And I'm meeting him after 41 years. I'm truly blessed. And that time his powerful speech was that what our ancestors had done the mistake, I see your generation not repeating them. This line is still I remember. So you gave in your splendid address. And that's the India has grown, but I think not taking much time. It's an truly honor, and also I believe that we are going to do a lot of work in a way that small contributions lead to larger contributions. And what we are going to do is that we have taken responsibility that in Gujarat, as you say that yesterday there was Amritam Gamaya, which was started by Honorable Prime Minister. He was in Ahmedabad yesterday. This is going to be in 15 cities. So we are going to spread the Spicmacay work throughout Gujarat, at least to begin with. And as far India is concerned, any nation for that matter have three strengths. So one is a sense of what you call strength, basically. So three senses, broader. Sense of strength in India is driven by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and for that matter all Prime Ministers. So sense of strength comes from there. Sense of energy comes from Dr. Karan Singh ji, Dr. Kiran Seth ji, Dr. Amitabh Kant, who runs entrepreneurship, Arun Bharat Ram ji, Dr. Arvind Lal, Hemant Luthra ji, and so many other distinguished personality present here. And the last one, which is sense of beauty, that is driven by only one person, a beautiful man, Dr. Kiran Seth. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Education sector, school sector specifically. We started Spicmacay chapter in Gurgaon in the year 1990. That was the first time. And of course in Delhi NCR, it has grown over the years. That time also the thought was, let us connect our children to the richness of our culture. And today also that is the challenge. It still remains a challenge. And I'm happy that right now all the education boards are integrating art into education. And that's why we are able to expose our children to all forms of art, be it performing arts or be it visual arts. So I'll stick to the point that I got a letter just now that the schools can have heritage clubs. Definitely, there is no doubt about it. And keeping a budgetary provision also, if I would request, if a schools can be told that this is the minimum and this is the maximum that you can provide, so it would help all kinds of schools. So, okay, and this, all schools, private schools can provide that kind of budget looking at the overall financial health. The other suggestion I would like to put here is that every private school can collaborate with the state-run school, so that if state-run schools can't afford it, at least private schools can help them.
Sure. Thank you.
So that can be a
Yeah.
training program for both kinds of schools. So I'm really happy to be here today, and this has been a humbling experience for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Point at the outset, I would like to salute Dr. Karan Singh for his consistent support, his vision, his inspiration. And I know only a few decades ago when I joined, and I've seen in this very hall Dr. Karan Singh in the middle and Dr. Manmohan Singh on his right and Indra Gujalji on his left. And since then I've been seeing him supporting this. I mean, in 20 years, nothing has changed. Today his voice carries as much weight, as much energy, sir. You've been able to inspire us. And secondly, I've seen this organization grow from 1,200 to 1,500 contests to 20,000, 25,000. Thanks to a stellar job done by Kiran Seth, his dedication, his commitment, and I mean, absolutely phenomenal commitment. I mean, it's an incredible job that has been done in the last so many years. And off and on we've seen people, and the very fact that after 4 years, this is the first advisory board meeting, and there's not a single chair which is empty. It bears testimony to the fact that there is as much commitment today. Yes, today we have a much larger role to perform in society. Art, culture, music, all this builds foundational values. All this brings people together. Okay, we are one largest diversity. I wonder if you know that we have 4,735 cultures and subcultures in India. That's the kind of diversity India has today. And we keep nudging one another, okay, all along. And I think it is almost therapeutic that you utilize music, art, culture. It brings a huge amount of bonding between people. You know, an ethos of being together. You know, that feeling of togetherness, the feeling of oneness will only come through culture. And I think it's almost therapeutic role that we also have to play in today's circumstances. Apart from, of course, educational values, apart from moral values, apart from all that many schools and colleges do not teach us here, I think we have a much larger role, sir, to perform, and I'm sure with your continued inspiration, we'll be able to do that. And Karen, I'd like to compliment you once again for the brilliant job that you've done all along. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. D.
To be the part of this particular meeting, but yes, really I would like to thank my university to provide me such a beautiful chance, क्योंकि इससे पहले मुझे इस तरीके का चांस कभी नहीं मिला, that I could feel blessed कि I am really feeling that yes, today I am at the right place to do something for the students of my university, for the students of our nation. So though the developing university like SGT University are doing so many things in terms of outreach, in terms of cultural activities, but still we are somewhere lacking behind in terms of more and more cultural gains that can never be filled before attending this meeting. So I would really would like to request you all that please support our university or all the private universities, as I am really very much impressed by the lady that is sitting just in front of me. Undoubtedly, ma'am, you are really doing so well. But yes, private universities or private organizations like us, हम भी आपकी दया के पात्र हैं. जितनी सरकारी यूनिवर्सिटीज या इंस्टीट्यूशंस के लिए आप लोग काम करते हैं, अगर आप हमें भी अपने साथ जोड़ लेंगे, we would really like to work, we would really love to work with you all. Please connect us in any term or in any manner. We would also love to do with you any type of work with you all. So please.
Group in a few organizations. One of them was highlighted by some speaker earlier, Association of Indian Universities.
Yeah, we will do that.
So we get them, and two are the secretaries of the higher education and secretary of the school education.
We are in touch with them.
Okay, so these three, and secretary culture.
Yes, we are in touch with all of them.
Yeah.
We are in touch with them. We will do something about that. Thank you. Dr. Karan Singh will give the final closing remarks, and then we end.
I don't have to really say very much. Each meeting this has been. We've had a lot of very valuable suggestions from people who've had lifetimes of experience in education and in culture. And so what I would like to say at the end is to congratulate you and your team for what you have done, and to echo what all the speakers have said, that Spicmacay is one of those organizations which can play a critical role in the cultural evolution and development of India. We have now the National Education Policy. I've been involved in that in some ways indirectly, and that gives us a lot of scope now to expand our activities. I'm sure, Kiran, under your guidance and imagination, we will continue to grow. One suggestion, we should start our meetings half an hour earlier. Instead of budgeting, you budgeted 90 minutes, which is wrong budgeting. You need at least 180 minutes.
No, many people joined at the last minute. You know, we were planned it about quite well, touch wood. But many people.
You were sent from 6:30 to 8. I knew as moment I read it, it's impossible to stop at 8. It should be really 6 to 8. Give us tea at 5:30.
Yeah.
I missed the tea, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thank you all very much, and God bless and keep going, Kiran. And good luck with your
Thank you.
sponsor.
Yeah. I just want to give one your all the, and also of course Charu for coordinating the whole meeting. There's Suman,
We argue
there's
and we come
Rachna,
back.
there's
Even just a second, we fight, we argue and we come back again. That's the power of Spicmacay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.